Good evening. Welcome to the Garfield Heights City School District Board of Education meeting. Tonight is Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. I call the school board meeting to order. This evening, we will be holding a calendar hearing for the 2024-2025 school year calendar. This is a public hearing. Are there any questions from the board about the calendar?
Madam President,
Ms. Daniels?
I just have one question of Dr. Reynolds. Is there any significant changes to next year's calendar that the board should be aware of?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for asking that question. One of the most significant changes is that we saw that we needed a little more time at the beginning of the year to make sure that we are prepared for the school year. So instead of having a kind of our monthly convocations with professional development, we decided to front load our professional development opportunities on the calendar. So you'll see some additional days from the beginning of the year, just to make sure that we're prepared as the school year begins.
Thank you, Dr. Reynolds.
Any other questions? I do have a question, and it could be a typo. In April, there's a question mark around, and it says question mark testing. Is it a question mark because we're not sure when the testing window will open up?
Exactly.
Okay.
Usually it's around the second to third week of April,
Okay.
but we're unsure until the state releases those dates.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, if there aren't any other questions, we will move on with our agenda. Mr. Ofo, could I get roll call?
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Present.
Ms. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Morrison?
Here.
Ms. King?
Here.
Madam President, point of order.
Yes, Ms. Morrison?
Can we please revise the agenda to include the committee and liaison assignments?
Can I get a second?
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Morrison and second by Ms. Daniels. Can I get roll call, please?
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. May I get a motion to adopt the revised agenda?
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Thomas and second by Ms. Daniels. Can I get roll call, please?
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. Now I'd like to take a moment of silent reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and that will be led by myself. Let's take a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion for approval of the minutes from the January 8th organizational meeting, the January 8th special board meeting, and the January 16th 16th regular board meeting as presented. So moved.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Cox and seconded by Ms. Morrison. Can I get roll call?
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. We'll now move to the board president's report. Thank you all very much. I'd like to extend my gratitude on behalf of the Board of Education to the team at William Foster Elementary, including Ms. Stevens, Ms. Strickland, and Ms. Curtin for inviting us to your building and for demonstrating compassion, care, and an overall positive mindset for our scholars and our staff. We know these things are very important to you, and it shows that these traits are being constructively passed along at this building. Great job. Also, mark your calendars, since Thursday, March 14th, William Foster will be the home to our Little Bulldogs kindergarten registration event from 4:30 to 6 p.m. We cannot wait to register more Little Bulldogs. An important meeting will take place tomorrow evening at 6:30 at the Civic Center and will include myself, Dr. Reynolds, Treasurer Oko, and others who will join Mayor Burke and members of City Council to discuss very important items facing our school community. This town hall represents a willingness for our community leadership and our school leadership to collaborate, talk through sensitive issues, and arrive at solutions together. Issue 23, the school district's renewal, will be among the topics that will be discussed. Those interested can attend the town hall meeting at 6:30 and ask questions. I thank Dr. Reynolds, the mayor, and everyone who was involved in planning and establishing this meeting. We applaud the middle school team, staff, and students for some great work during the past month or so. Engaging in the community is valuable to our successes, and we understand that the Rock Church community has extended its charity to the middle school as well. Thank you to them. Congratulations on the successes of Market Day, where our community comes together to help those in need through individual sacrifices, donations, and a willingness to help the brothers and sisters in need in our community. Thank you to everyone who has played a role. Finally, if you're not registered for your attendance at the performance next Thursday evening at the Center for Performing Arts, sponsored by the Mojubo Dance Collective, you can still do so by visiting the homepage of our website. This concludes my report. We're going to move on now to other committee reports. Are there any committee reports this evening? Any committee reports? I have a legislative liaison committee report. One is talking about the House Primary and Secondary Education Committee. There was the committee heard sponsored testimony on Senate Bill 168. And one of the main things that came out of that hearing was that it would allow school districts to develop and use their own framework for teacher evaluation instead of using a framework developed by the State Board of Education, which could be very difficult when you have different school districts using different instruments to evaluate teachers, because teachers could move from district to district and you wouldn't be able to, it's like comparing apples to oranges. You wouldn't have the same tool being utilized to evaluate teachers. So I just wanted to bring that to the school board's attention so that we can keep an eye on Senate Bill 168. I also want to continue to keep you up to date on our Legislator Day at the high school. It will be on March 15th in the Little Theater at 12:30. We've invited our local and state legislators, and they will be talking to our seniors that are in government class. So that will be happening in the Little Theater at 12:30 on March 15th. That concludes my report. Are there any other committee reports? All right, if not, we'll continue. And we will go to our presentations. And for that, I will turn it over to Dr. Reynolds.
Thank you, Madam President. Tonight, we have the privilege of hearing from Ms. Stevens, Principal Stevens, and the William Foster team. And we're excited to hear about the work that they've had since the beginning of the school year.
Good evening, and thank you, Dr. Reynolds. Thank you, and welcome everyone, board members, senior leadership, family, community members, and other staff. Welcome to William Foster Elementary School. I am Ms. Stevens, the principal, and I have with me my team, Ms. Collie Strickland, our assistant principal, and Felicia Curtin, our administrative team member. We're going to start with a presentation from our kindergartners. A couple of classes we have here represented, Ms. Davis' class and Ms. Garvin's class. Kindergarten class is under the direction of Mr. Chad Savin, our music teacher. I'm going to turn it over to them.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to William Foster Elementary. My name is Mr. Salmon. I'm the music teacher here. This is actually my third year teaching here, my seventh year teaching overall. I was here way back when William Foster was just a K-5 school, and now we have the opportunity to work with kindergarten and first grade students. Before you today is Miss Garman's class and Mrs. Davis' class, both kindergarten classes. And I'll tell you what, these kids are fantastic. They sat up here during, a Board of Education meeting. They're very patient. They listened along, and they actually had some really interesting thoughts about the state policy. They're telling us back here. So we have today, I'm going to show you just a little bit of what we do in our music class to warm up every morning. Miss G is going to show us a song, and then I have 3 more songs as well. So I hope you enjoy our kindergartners here.
First Miss G, then you. Let's sing a folk song. Let's all sing a yodeling song, a yodeling song, a yodeling song. Let's all sing a yodeling song, yodel-o-lay-hee-hoo. One more time. Let's all sing a yodeling song, a yodeling song, a yodeling song. Let's all sing a yodeling song, yodel-o-lay-hee-hoo. One more time. Let's all sing a yodeling song, a yodeling song, a yodeling song. Let's all sing a yodeling song, yodel-o-lay-hee-hoo. Ready?
Let's us sing a yodeling song, a yodeling song, a yodeling song. Let's us sing a yodeling song, yodel-o-lay-hee-hoo.
Thank you very much.
Sit down, please. Since I go first, then you go. My legs are crossed. Hands on the left. Ears listening. Eyes in the strips. Next song. Our welcome song. Funya Alafu. Alright, let's see you do this, okay? We're going together. 1, 2, ready, go. I go first and you go. One more song? One more song? Every day. I have the blues. B.B. King. Blues guitarist. Alright, I'm singing. You go. I go first and you go. Okay, I go first and you go. Every day. Every day. I got the blues. Every day. Every day. I got the blues. I don't know why it's happening. Cause I got no more. About blues. That's now. I go first. You go. Every day. Every day. I got the blues. Every day. Every day. I got the blues. I don't know why it's happening. Cause I got no more. We bop. We bop. Fiddly bop. Squee bop. Fiddly bop. Fiddly bop. Scoop, scoop, scoop. Scoop, scoop, scoop. I go first and you go. We bop. Fiddly bop. Bop blues. That's all we got. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Hey, also, families, we're gonna pull the kids into the cafeteria out there. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Give them another round of applause, please. And thank you for coming out, family. Yes, thank you. At this time, we're going to continue on with our presentation. I would like to bring your attention to our school vision. It says through an effort of collaboration and academic engagement, the staff of William Foster Elementary School will create a safe and supportive learning community that encourages, educates, and empowers its staff and students. That is our vision, and you know the mission of William Foster Elementary School. We want every child to leave here reading and writing on grade level. That's our mission. This is the vision of which we will do it. I want to give you a little bit of background about William Foster. We have approximately 461 students. We have pre-K, so pre-K grades K and 1. We have 9 kindergarten classrooms, 9 first grade classrooms, 2 full-day pre-K classrooms and 4 half-day pre-K classrooms. We just opened a 4th classroom today. So the enrollment is increasing in pre-K. We want our students to start in pre-K so they can get a jump on that early learning and early literacy. We have a full staff here, a large staff, about 75 staff members. And we are so blessed to have a coach from Breed Ohio program. She just started the 2nd semester. That's helping us with our early literacy measures. We got a little taste of what we have to offer here with our music department. Each child partakes in 4 core classes for grades K and 1. They have art, music, gym, and technology or STEM class. And they also visit the library once a week. We also have our visiting librarian come in from the Garfield Heights City Library as well. We service the whole child. So we not only have our encore classes, but we also have our social and emotional learning embedded in our daily curriculum and lessons through Satchel costs. With that, we have the support of 2 intervention managers to help with our social emotional learning and a full-time school counselor. That's important because all districts, all schools do not have that, to have those people, those support staff in place. We also have 2 full-time Title I tutors. We're very lucky to have those Title staff members here who help provide interventions for those students who need additional support, academic support. And we were happy to learn that we received 3 of our teachers. We recently were awarded grants through our the Garfield Heights Education Foundation. They received grants for their classroom that helps with their academics in their classrooms. We also have a 5-star preschool program. Again, I just mentioned that we have a class that we just opened today. Here are some pictures from our encore classes. We have math embedded in gym. Also, you can see in the gym we have some letters up. Our gym teacher does a lot with helping support the academics that go along in the classroom. Music, you just got to taste of music and music emotion. We have our STEM, we have students learning STEM there. We just celebrated 100 days of school for K students and also first graders. And we just had our social emotional learning day of kindness and love on Valentine's Day. I want to share with you our goals of our building here. We said that we want to make sure that every student is a reader on grade level. That is the goal, but we do have a gap in some learning. Some of our students come in, every student that comes in does not have that preschool experience. And we want them to have that preschool experience, but some students come in and they really need additional support. So we looked at our Ames Web, that is the diagnostic that we use at the beginning of the year, and we had 41 out of 191 students in first grade, only 22% pass or on track to pass that 3rd grade reading guarantee. So based on that number there, then we came up with a goal of at least 55% of our first graders, when they leave here, at the end of the year, will be on track to meet the 3rd grade reading guarantee. That's the projection there. Again, based on how they came in or where they came in, but that is the goal for the end of the year. At least 55% of them are on track. By the time they get in 3rd grade, we want all of them, 100% to be on track to pass the test. But we have to close the achievement gap. So that's a realistic goal that we have there. Right now, we have 37%. So we went from 22% in the fall to 37%. And we're looking at 55%. That is going to help us close the achievement gap, again, by the time they reach 3rd grade. For grade K, we were looking at 70% of our kindergartners to be on track by the end of the year because the gap is smaller. They just started here, 70%. But when they started here, grade K, it was 60% of them on track, and now it's 67% on track to meet the third grade reading guarantee. We also want to decrease our chronic absenteeism rate. Right now, we have about an 85% attendance rate each day. We're shooting for 93% each day, at least 93%, but we're holding about 85% from month to month. So that causes a chronic absenteeism rate, and we want to reduce that absenteeism rate. But again, at 85%, we're trying to get to 93%. So here was a pyramid that we were looking at for first grade literacy. This was a diagnostic in the fall. You can see a lot of red there. We want to see more green, more yellow. We did grow. Like I said, we went from 22 to 37%. Enrollment at the end of the year is 55%. So we are growing. Kids are learning. We are reducing the red and growing that green. Skip over. This was K. Same thing here. We went from 60 to 67%. Kindergarten, first grade, lots of growth in first grade. And this is a math diagnostic. We looked at grade K and grade 1 in math. We did take the fall assessment for math. We took the winter assessment, and 52% are in the green or the yellow. That's good for grade K. And also 47% is in the green and the yellow for grade 1. So about half of our students are on track for the math. And we'll take the diagnostic in the spring to see how they grow. We have a new math program, as you may know, Reveal Math, that we're using, implementing this year. So hopefully we'll see great gains with that math. I want to say how we are making growth here, what we're doing. Again, the focus of reading, I always say reading is key. So we do want them doing well with math, but it's the reading. If they can't read, they're not going to do well on the math test when they get to third grade. So part of their math is reading as well. They have to be able to read and reason. So we have to get them ready for that reading. The biggest thing now in grades K and 1 will be to focus on phonemic awareness and phonics instruction, that good old phonics instruction. Explicit phonics instruction. We do that by using the Hegarty and Foundations curriculum. All teachers have training in Hegarty and Foundations. We had some training today, actually, with our Read Ohio coach. We had a staff meeting today. We went over some things with Hegarty. We want to focus on Hegarty. That's that phonemic awareness, and the Foundations is for the phonics. That's our phonics instruction. And it's all about, you probably heard again, the science of reading, and that's just a way to teach, is a systematic way of teaching reading. And that's what our teachers are immersed in. That's what we want them to know, want them to use. If they use it as a systematic way of teaching reading, according to that research, that 95% of students should be able to read. We're also implementing teacher clarity, making sure that teachers are explicitly teaching and sharing with students what is it that we want you to learn. So when Ms. Strickland and I, Ms. Curtis, we do our rhymes, we go in, we're listening for, if the teacher is explaining to the students, making sure that they understand what they're learning today, so they explicitly teach them and tell them what they're learning, so the students can stay focused, and it keeps the teacher focused too. This is what we're learning today, to go back and say that throughout the lesson, throughout the learning. Explicit teaching and direct instruction is also important, making sure, again, that teachers know what to teach, the students know what's being taught, know what's expected of them, and how it looks, what success looks like. We have teachers bi-weekly progress monitoring through Ames Web the growth of students. So we don't just take a benchmark in the fall and in the winter and the spring, but every 2 weeks that the teachers are monitoring students' progress. And based on that data, they create small groups. So they're differentiating instruction based on that data so they can meet the needs of students. We have teacher-based teams twice weekly. Teachers meet on Mondays and Wednesdays to discuss, to review the data, to strategize and discuss a plan of instruction for their small groups, their students. They share instructional strategies. We also meet as a building leadership team to support the teacher-based teams and meet once monthly. And again, as I mentioned, our staff meetings are not just about, procedures, but also about, today was about integrity, looking at what they need to make sure that they're doing integrity, making sure that they're following those strategies and implementing those academic or those strategies, instructional strategies, and sharing tips. I wanted to play a video. I want to make sure this is just a short video of how students learn in the classroom in a small group with the title teachers. Make sure this works. You know what? I don't have the sound. I'm sorry, the sound is not coming through. The teacher is giving a word, like she said, rat, and the students are actually saying, thank you. Thank you. I just wanted you to get a taste of what goes on in the classroom. And when you put motion to any learning, that helps the learning. That helps it stick and stay. So it's not just about hearing it, but seeing it and also moving with it. That helps to increase the learning and their memory. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Strickland to talk about our 5-star award-winning preschool.
Hello, everyone. So, Garfield Heights Preschool Program received a 5-star rating. William Foster Preschool serves scholars ages 3 to 5 who has disabilities, and they also have peer models. We also serve scholars 4 and 5 who are typically developing, and these are our full-day classrooms. We have 2 full-day classrooms, 20 students in each classroom, and then we have 4 half-day classrooms, and their half-days are 8 students each session with peer models. Our curriculum is our creative curriculum, and we focus on 4 areas: social, emotional, physical, cognitive, and language. So I'm gonna go back before. So a child that attends preschool is twice as likely to be on track in language and literacy. And then our step up to quality focus on learning and development, also staff quality, professional development, and family and community engagement. So we, like I said, we did receive a 5-star for William Foster. PBIS. We implement PBIS, which is our Positive Behavior Intervention Support. And this is a multi-tier framework that makes schools more effective, and it focuses on social, emotional, behavior, and academic outcomes. Our PBIS team meets monthly, and we talk about data, and we plan monthly incentives. So we focus on Tier 1, and we have 2 Tier 1 programs. We have a monthly positive incentive. So if you look up here, we have PAWS. Our students can earn PAWS for our monthly incentives. And PAWS stands for Prompt and Prepare, Accept Responsibilities, Work Hard, and Show Respect. So these students, you can earn monthly PAWS in the classrooms from the teachers. And you get to have, we have our chalk and bubbles parties, we had dance parties, we're doing a bouncy house, we have a luau plan. We also, we're partnered with the high school, and our high school cheerleaders and basketball team, we're gonna do a cheerleader basketball camp with our students, and then the students also are gonna read to our preschoolers, so that's exciting. Partnership with the high school. Our team uses Operate data, and we try to make informed school-wide decisions. And these decisions, like if we're having behavior problems in the hallway, maybe recess, we'll try to talk about solutions, things that we can do differently using that data. So tier one. So tier one is when you focus on all of the students. So one of our tier one things that we have in place, we do a perfect weekly attendance in the lunchroom, and we recognize those students who are coming to school every week. We also have top dog students of the month. We do an ice cream social, and then we have a character trait of the month. So if those students are exhibiting that character, this month's character trait is cooperation. Our team level Fun Friday incentives are grade level, and we do those bi-weekly. So that's another incentive that we have. And we have in the works our daily behavioral raffle. And then Mrs. Hurt, she's gonna talk about our tier 2 and tier 3 positive incentives.
Good evening. As Mrs. Strickland said, we would like for most of our students to be in tier 1, but of course there are some students that need some extra support, and that's how they get into our tier 2 and tier 3 levels. What we started was a check-in, check-out system. We called it the Bulldog Club. These students get a behavior sheet every day, and it has individualized goals based on what they need support in the classroom. They have a mentor in the building that they check in with, and they check out at the end of the day. If they hit their goals, they get a small token. It could be extra recess time, play time, or a sweet treat. And then at the end of the week, all of their points are tallied up, and they can come to the weekly store to shop. They also have a sticker chart, and when their sticker chart is filled up, they get to eat lunch with Ms. Curtin, myself, and their parents get an email every day. So that behavior sheet goes home to a parent every day, either in their book bag, and then I also email it to the parents so that we can have that daily communication as far as how those children are doing. And the team here at William Foster, we meet bi-weekly to discuss that data to see if the students are improving. Most of our students are looking at getting 80% on their behavior chart every day. For a few students, we did have to lower that amount to around 50%. See how they're doing. We're constantly looking at that data and trying to get them back into tier 1. This is just a couple pictures of the weekly store that the children get to go to. This was our winter craft party. And I believe students need, is it 15? Yes. To get to 15 stickers for the month to get to our monthly parties. This is the dance party that we had. Some more of the winter craft. Social emotional learning, Ms. Strickland and Ms. Stevens talked about this a little bit. We use a program called Satchel Pulse. Our students are tiered just like the academics into a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 based on assessment that they take in the fall. So the computer is all children friendly. They have to rate themselves on how they're doing in skills, social emotionally, and then they're placed into a group. Depending on if you're in group tier 2 or tier 3, you get some counseling during the week, and it says on there how much time those students get where they're actually being taught some of those skills that they're missing. Our goal is, again, to get everybody in tier 1, and we do have some movement, so we're looking at this data also to see who's moving into tier 3 because of behavior referrals, who's moving out, moving back into tier 2, tier 1, who needs more support. I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Stevens.
That
concludes our presentation to the board.
Thank you so much.
Are there any questions for the William Foster team?
Madam President,
Ms. Daniels?
as we're looking at the data, and this is my little thing, my little box I stand on with Dr. Reynolds a lot, is our first grader data seem to be very low. And I'm wondering, is that because we have a lot of transfers coming up from first grade? I know that there's a little buzz in the community that, you know, because our start date for kindergarten is a little different. A lot of kids go to community schools for kindergarten and return back to the district for first grade. And haven't been able to identify that as maybe one of our barriers in working on a plan to bridge that gap. Because if they're gonna come back, we want them in kindergarten, because we see our data for kindergarten is strong. So we know that the best education for our students in this community is happening right here at William Foster and in the Garfield High City School District. So how do, you know, are we noticing, have we looked at the data yet to see if that's the actual barrier?
We haven't looked at comparative data just yet, but we do see that there is a lag or a drop in the number of students we have in kindergarten, as opposed to pre-K is bursting at the seams right now. Kindergarten a little lower, and you see there's almost 200 students when we're looking at first grade. So there is an effort to push for more students to be registered in kindergarten in our district, so that it will help. Because we are a transient community, a very transient community, and folks are moving in and out constantly, that is a challenge not only in our school district, but in a couple school districts in our area that we're all trying to attack, and trying to do some efforts. Like we have a kindergarten night or pre-K night coming up in a little bit. I think I'll mention that in my board report. But we are making an effort to make sure that kids are starting younger in school so that we can have them consistently. But we'll be able to kind of look at the data, because that is a gut feeling of ours as well. But we do need to have the solid data to show that that is what's happening. But we are working to ensure that they know that we're available for kindergarten, for pre-K, and so on and so forth. We have a lot of kids showing up, and we had to make some adjustments for pre-K, but we need to ensure that we're doing the same thing for kindergarten as well.
That's good. So you guys added an additional class for the special ed preschool? Is it a special ed new class, or are they? Okay, so I mean, and that's really good for me to hear, because I'm glad that the families in our community is actually doing those early interventions and getting their kids the support early, because that helps the student to be able to grasp and thrive later. So kudos to whoever's pushing the recruitment for getting our 3-year-olds into the district tested and evaluated. So that's really good to hear. That's really good.
Are there any other questions for our William Foster team? I do have a couple of comments. I do want to commend you for the growth that we see with our scholars. Just the growth that they've made thus far is tremendous, and I want to thank you, Ms. Stevens, and your team for that work. And I look forward to seeing the end of the year and how much growth the scholars have made. I also want to commend you on the 5-star early childhood program. Coming from being an early childhood director myself, I know how hard it is to obtain and maintain 5-star quality early childhood programs. And also just want want you all to continue the hard work with making sure that our scholars have what they need to be successful. And that is all that I have. Is there any other questions? Comments? Thank you very much, and please tell Mr. S. and Mr. S. and Miss F. that we enjoyed their presentation, and the kindergarten scholars as well.
Thank you, thank you.
So let me just make sure I introduce what the presentation is right now. So in an effort for us to streamline some of our programs that we're using as a school district and to make sure that we are reporting appropriately and consistently to the state, there is an area that we are looking at. Infinite Campus is one of the areas. And Mr. Whalen will explain what Infinite Campus is and why it is important that we look into transition.
So currently as a district, we're using for our student information system, for our gradebook system as well, Progress Book. Infinite Campus would be a replacement for Progress Book, but not just for Progress Book, for a lot of other systems that we currently work on. So as a district team, we met, and one of the things we took a look at is all of the systems that we are currently using to gather data and how they communicate with our student information system. We have a wide variety of systems we use for learning management, for food service, for online registration, for gathering our student information. Actually, Progress Book is divided up into two different platforms that are actually connected as one. There's actually Dazzle and Progress Book, which work together. We communicate with Same Goal for a number of our special education programs. Online payments actually go through a separate platform as well. So one of the things we were looking at with Infinite Campus was some of the benefits first for our data. Data has been something, especially in recent years, we've been talking more and more about the importance of accuracy with data. One of the benefits to Infinite Campus is the fact that this is a platform that was built from the ground up to work together. It's streamlined versus our current solution of Progress Book. It's much easier for data to communicate between the various elements of it because it was all built to work together. Accurate data is really important to us because our accurate data leads to two very key areas for us. First of all, making sure we are gathering correct school funding. It's also very important that we're reporting accurately to the state our actual progress of our students. Better integration between our student information system and gradebook functions help to achieve that. There's simple navigation between student, staff, and course information in this platform. It also continues our district's effort to provide clean data, and that clean data helps us to drive forward some of our initiatives here. One of the other areas we were looking at was a consolidation of services. You saw in that little picture graph that I had, we have a lot of different platforms that communicate together. This won't get rid of every other platform that we use, but it provides an opportunity inside that program to offer some of those services through Infinite Campus, with some additional functionality that we don't currently enjoy as a district, and a simplification for our staff, for our parents, of a singleton account to log in instead of having to go to every one of those platforms to connect to those services. That's particularly important when you've got parents who are logging in to check grades. They want to pay school fees. They want to check on the lunch program. They want to receive district communications. If they can do that all through one platform and update their contact information through that same platform, it simplifies the process for them. One other thing that this platform offers that our current solution does, within the platform, is the ability for registration annual updates from parents from within the platform, making sure that data transfers over quickly and accurately for one platform to the other. One username and password for parents, again, to do that. It's the same one they're logging into to check grades instead of having to log into a separate system for that purpose. The other thing it offers us is an opportunity for all of our staff. We've had a lot of staff transition. An opportunity for our staff to receive training, positional training, so that way they can feel confident in being able to achieve their own individual goals. Infinite Campus also is becoming a much more popular platform within Ohio and other states. One advantage that it offers is that a student from another Infinite Campus school, their historical data can be transferred over to our Infinite Campus. It makes it much easier to transfer over student data, to be able to react to that data quickly and just start moving forward on instruction. The scheduling option in Infinite Campus offers some more flexibility too. Right now we're in a situation with scheduling where we have to hit a certain point where we turn everything on for everybody in the district before we can start reacting. Infinite Campus allows different elements of scheduling on a building by building basis to be initiated at various phases of the process based on what that building's need is. There's also, and this is a feature that I happen to love, I know a lot of our staff members who haven't had a chance to experience this are going to love. There's a sandbox in Infinite Campus. And what a sandbox is, it's a safe test playground where it simulates our environment, but you can make changes in that environment to test it out. You can use it to train staff. And the nice part about that is, if you make a mistake in it, it's a sandbox. It does not impact our data in any way, shape, or form. If we want to try something new, if we want to try out a building, wants to try the schedules to see how it works, they can do certain things in the sandbox and not have it impact what we're currently doing right now. So it's something that's offered free as a part of the platform. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but this is part of the core package that you get with Infinite Campus. The cost for the core package is equal to what we're currently paying for Progress Book right now, with registration built right in. We're asking you today to approve forward movement on us moving to this core package. Beyond the core package, though, one of the nice things about Infinite Campus is the fact that there are some optional pieces that we can sign on to, and we are currently exploring them as a district. One of the examples of the optional services that we can do is we can take some of our services that we are now paying for, like Remind and Blackboard Connect, and consolidate them into this single platform. The advantage of that would be for our parents. They'll still receive text messaging. They'll still receive email. They'll still receive phone calls. But those will all be initiated from one platform. On top of that, Infinite Campus offers its own app. This would be an app most parents would sign into to check grades, be able to update their payment information, be able to receive communications. They can receive push notifications from that app as well. Parent gets a new cell phone. They can log into their Infinite Campus app. They can update their contact information and know that the next day they would receive an email, a phone call, a text based on their preferences through changes in this platform. This can handle all of our district and building closing messages and updates. Everything we currently do with Remind and Blackboard Connect can be done through this platform. One of the advantages, though, is we pay currently $24,000 for those two platforms combined. For Infinite Campus to be able to put that solution integrated through that would be a $7,700 purchase for us. We'd be saving $16,000 by moving to that platform, while offering the additional functionality of an app that they could also sign on to as well. So we wouldn't be losing any functionality, we'd actually be gaining additional functionality. It's an example of one of the services that we're looking at that would be an additional add-on through Infinite Campus. Again, that would be without an additional sign-on for our families. Two of the other optional services that we're looking at, there's Registration Prime, which adds additional features to the registration for our families, additional services that we can provide for that process. We are currently investigating if that's the right fit for us. Also, we'd be able to move our food service program within Infinite Campus. The advantage of doing the food service program through Infinite Campus would be for parents, again, single sign-on to check on the current status of school lunches. For us to be able to then update any payments that they need. We have to make a move anyway from Meals Plus, which is our current platform, to Link Nutrition. So at this time, we'd be able to make that move to Infinite Campus instead, allowing our parents one single sign-on to make those connections as well. So a lot of this is about additional conveniences for our families. So in closing, we're looking for the core services right now. And the reason why we need to pursue this with some urgency is we would like to implement this for next school year. In order to do that, we have to start now. We have to start transferring our data over to this platform now. The implementation would be a July switchover. Our schools would continue scheduling this year, just like normal in our current platform. Those schedules would be transferred over to Infinite Campus. And we'd start functioning in July with our brand new platform, with the training to support that for our professional development return during the school year. The optional service that we're currently exploring, the optional services that I pointed out there, we would also be looking to implement for the 24-25 school year. We are just double checking all those to make sure they are the right fit and that they will meet or exceed services that we currently offer. Do you have any questions?
I do have two questions. Can you explain what you meant by positional training for our staff?
Yes, it would be based on anyone's position. So if you're a building principal, you would get a different training than a building secretary. If you're a district administrator, you would get different training based on what portions of Infinite Campus that you would be regularly working with. So that way you're not getting training that you're never going to need to access. It would be training that's specifically tailored to the job you're going to do. So that way you can ask, actually very similar to the conversation we're having right now, you can ask very specific questions to what you need to be able to do in order to complete your job.
Okay.
Versus a lot of fluff that you would not want to waste your time on. It's a great question.
And my second question is, how easy is the transfer of data? So you had indicated that the staff would go ahead and build out the schedules in our current system, and then it would transfer over. How easy is that transfer? Will there have to be some cleanup when it goes over? If we choose to go to Infinite Campus, would there be some cleanup?
They work with us to make sure that it transfers over. So they're very experienced in transferring the data over from Progress Book to Infinite Campus. They actually encourage you to do your scheduling in Progress Book and to move that over because you are already familiar with doing your scheduling in that platform. What happens is they give us a cutoff date. So we'll have a cutoff date, it'll be, let's say towards the end of June, where then you will start doing all of your work in Infinite Campus. They will, throughout that process, be gradually migrating over the data, working with us to make sure that everything has been properly moved over, and that it matches the work that we've been doing already in Progress Book. So that's part of the process that we will begin now, between now and July 1st.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Whalen?
Madam President.
Ms. Cox?
No, ma'am. No.
Ms. Cox?
The only question I have is for the other services that we're considering, the meal service and the other one, would there still be a 16,000 savings?
It's different for each service. So one of the ones we've been looking at first was communication, because that's one that we know off the bat it offers everything that we currently do here. As we're exploring the other services, some of them, in some cases, they're a little bit more than what we're currently paying out, but it's not $16,000 more. So we would still be enjoying savings as a district, even if we were adding on the other optional services that we do.
And to add to that, Ms. Cox, I would say at least for the food service portion, some of what Infinite Campus allows us to do would, put a seamless implementation for our families for the reporting on the food service requirements that we need. Given that we're a full CEP district, there is some disconnect sometimes on whether folks need their food service forms or not. Currently, it's difficult for our systems to talk to each other, which with what the state implemented this past year makes it difficult sometimes to report. Infinite Campus and the offset program kind of helps alleviate that by giving us the ability to merge everything under one, and then our parents are able to do their food service forms online, which then will talk to our SIS, which then will talk to the state system. So if there is any cost, at least for the meals service, which I'm directly involved with, deeply involved with on that, it is worth it for us, and it's not anything material. You know, we're not talking 25,000, 30,000 over what we have currently. So anything that, and Sean and I have worked very hard to make sure that what we're looking at is either a wash in terms of costs, or if we're paying a little extra, are we getting the bang for the buck that we're looking for? Hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. Very informative.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam President. February is celebrated as Black History Month in the Garfield Heights City Schools and across the nation. And for the purpose of reaffirming the strength, depth, and impact of the achievements of African Americans in our society, I salute everyone in our district who's helped to make this a special month. Many events, activities, and opportunities for learning about African American heritage and accomplishments have taken place, and I had the privilege of attending several of these, including one last Friday at our Center for Performing Arts. Please mark on your calendars for next Thursday, February 29th, as Mojoba Dance Collective will be performing with our students and staff to celebrate Black History Month with a special performance. Please register for this event online. Tomorrow evening, February 21st, I, along with President King and Treasurer Oko, and other district officials will participate in the community town hall meeting from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. to discuss overlapping matters between the city and the schools, and issue 23, our renewal issue. This event will be open to the community as well. Please plan to join us at 6:30 p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. At the Civic Center to join the meeting between the schools, Mayor Burke, and members of the City Council. Please also mark on your calendars Thursday, March 14th from 4:30 to 6 o'clock p.m. for students who will turn 5 years old on or before August 1st, 2024. And the district will host an annual Little Bulldog registration event. Here, parents will have an opportunity to learn more about the checklist associated with becoming a Little Bulldog, meet some of our kindergarten teachers, and obtain more information. More information will be available on the website. Special shout out goes to our team at the middle school, where there's a great community-oriented service and achievements taking place. Our middle school student council members recently visited the city council meeting in order to learn more of the inner workings of the municipal government, get it out of my mouth, taking place. Student council has also played an active role with the tremendous success of our market day last month. The boys basketball team at the middle school volunteered to help to make these efforts successful as well. So far this year, more than 62,000 pounds of fresh produce. Let me say that again. So far this year, more than 62,000 pounds of fresh produce and usable foods have been accumulated and have benefited more than 5,000 members of the Garfield Heights community. This amazing effort is rooted in our district's deep desire for service, for helping others in need, and for making leaders of the future generation of the Garfield Heights community. Congratulations to the middle school, Mr. Koenig, for the leadership and willingness to use our students to positively impact the community. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Reynolds. Next on our agenda, I'm going to do our board committee appointments. We have our Cuyahoga Valley Career Center appointment, and that will, of course, remain Ashley Thomas. We have the Legislative Committee. I will be appointing myself and Michelle Daniels. On the strategic plan committee, this is a new board committee that we will create. That will be Heather Morrison and Tandika Cox. On the finance committee, that will remain Heather Morrison, and we will add Ashley Thomas. On the policy committee, that will be Michelle Daniels and Ashley Thomas. The liaison to the legislative delegate for OSBA will remain myself, Millette King. The wellness liaison will be Heather Morrison. The family and community engagement liaison will be Tandika Cox. The ACE committee will be Millette King and Tandika Cox. And we will appoint a liaison to the negotiations next year when we are getting into negotiation season. We also wanted to make sure that we adopt a school. So the middle school will be adopted by myself. Maple Leaf will be adopted by Ms. Daniels. Elmwood will be adopted by Ms. Thomas. The high school will be adopted by Ms. Cox. And William Foster will be adopted by Ms. Morrison. Next on our agenda are remarks from the public regarding agenda items. All right, we don't have anyone signed up, so we will continue. Can I get a motion to move and waive the reading of 9.1 and through 9.3?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Cox and seconded by Ms. Daniels. Can I get roll call, please? Discussion.
Sure. So we have a few things this evening. First, we'll go through the financials. We're about 58% of the way through the fiscal year. You'll see that the revenues are down this month. If you look a little deeper, it's all attributed to our local tax revenue. The county has permanently moved the collection dates to the middle or end third week of February. So we just got our second tax advance. Our settlement in March will make up for that. Again, these monthly reports are skewed based on what we received last year, current year to date, against last year's numbers. We're not looking at losing anything regarding local tax funding, but it is going to be a little bit lower until we have that true-up settlement. On top of that, to kind of talk about Infinite Campus as well, the state implemented a new matching system for economically disadvantaged populations. So the way that they match is they match to different programs that the state offers, like Medicaid, TESO, and SNAP are some of a few ones. So with that changeover, they didn't capture all of the CDP information that we have, so we're working to get that cleaned up so that it'll show a little bit of a change when the state trues up with us towards the end of the fiscal year. Other than that, we're looking forward now to our May forecast, which will kind of align the budget to what we're looking forward to in the next year. Quickly, the other two, transfer resolution. It's common that the board transfers money from the general fund into the 300 student activities fund. It's a controlled budget account. You guys have traditionally done this around this time every year, so we'll just kind of move forward with that kind of structure. We'll do one final one in June as we true up the full year when we go to appropriating. And then a really exciting one is, I know, a reconciliation item, approval for receipt. So we have balanced our books this month for the first time in a while, and it's great for our district. So what you're doing is you're approving a receipt item in our software to make up for the postings that have not kept up through the times that have thrown off our book and our bank balance. So moving forward, we're looking at a reconciliation to a penny, but this kind of gets us to where we need to be. I just want to let everyone know that we know exactly where every penny is in the school district. This is just software, you know, kind of an issue that maybe something wasn't posted years ago. Maybe it was posted, didn't go through. But this is kind of, we've nailed down where it came from. That's important. So, all right.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Oko, for nailing down every penny in the district. It's greatly appreciated. So with that, can I get roll call?
Yes.
Or is there any other discussion? All right, can I get roll call?
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. Can I get a motion to move and waive 11.1 through 14 15.1, 11.1 through 15.1.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
That was moved by Heather Morrison, second by Ms. Cox. Is there any discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. Daniels?
I just have a question. What is the recess intramurals? They're here at William Foster, so I see what these are.
Yeah. This is an opportunity for us to have more of a structure around our recess, or since we are struggling with recess aids and so on and so forth, this is an opportunity for teachers to assist in those areas. And that's basically the gist of it. This is actually an area that we've been in discussion about to see how we can kind of tighten those as well. But we'd like to continue to run that throughout this year until we can get a hold of exactly how we can staff those positions so that we can give those teachers an opportunity to rest a bit while the kids are at recess.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? All right, that was moved by Ms. Morrison and second by Ms. Cox. Could I get roll call, please?
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. Could I get a motion to move and waive 15.1 through, sorry, my hand's not as mobile as it used to be.
Ms. King,
doing
Yes. 16.1.
16.1 through 17.6.
So moved.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Thomas and second by Ms. Daniels. Is there any discussion?
Madam President,
Ms. Daniels?
I want to First, I have a question regarding Infinite Campus. The quote that we are voting on today, does this allow you guys to add the additional services that you deem necessary, or would that require you guys to come back to the board?
It may require us to come back to the board. We want to make sure that the core of this, the piece where we know that it will allow us to have the clean data that we need to provide the state. And then we're figuring out how we can go and implement some of the other pieces, the communications piece. So I believe this is the core of what we're working on. We're asking the board for.
And do you guys know when you'll be coming back before us to expand it so that you have enough time to implement it?
I'll be working with the administrative team to see where our next steps are to ensure that we are even transitioning, because some of the applications are areas that we've used as a district consistently. But again, this is our effort to streamline. Instead of having so many, we want to go ahead and bring it basically under one roof. So we'll have another conversation to see which parts of those things that we're interested in really pulling off from one app to the other.
Thank you. And I have one more area for discussion. I'm very excited about seeing the Cleveland Clinic mobile unit coming to just not our district but our community.
Yes.
And I know that this has been a vision of this board's, I would say, maybe over the last 4 years to bring something like this to the district. So we're very excited to finally see the inner workings of this finally happening and coming to our district. And not just our district, but this is actually something that is going to support the overall health and wellness of our community. So I want to commend you guys on that.
Thank you. This is a great opportunity for our community. It was extremely important, even when I was in the building principal, that our building was more than just a place where we send our children. I wanted my building to be a resource. And now that I'm in this position, I want our district to be a resource. And this is an opportunity not only just to serve the students, but also to serve their families as well. This will allow them to do the minimal pieces, regular checks, or even exams, but just to ensure that everyone has access to medical care. And this will allow that. And this is consistent with what we're trying to do just as a city in general, working with city council and the mayor as well with other opportunities. One thing that we're working on right now just for the district is even looking at GED programs for folks, our parents or our community members who may need additional support in those areas, high school equivalency, but really thinking of how we can serve and how we can partner with the city to serve the community. And this is one effort that our district has been able to do, and thank you to the board for supporting this effort, just to respond to the needs of our people. So thank you.
I think it's definitely something we need to highlight tomorrow evening, to make sure that we let the community know that this is happening.
Yes, thank you. And thank you to our People Services Department who made sure that this was an opportunity that, that we ensure that we close the deal, basically. And they even gave us a bit of a sample of what it would look like. And we'll be doing some filming to make sure everyone is aware of social media and as well that this information is getting out to the community so they know they have a place to be served.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Ms. Thomas?
I have a question about Infinite Campus. So if we approve this quote and we move forward with just the core, and then later on we decide to add, the communication piece or the lunch piece, is there just one flat implementation cost in the beginning, or will we have to pay additional implementation costs if we decide to add different pieces on later?
If you can help me out with Mr. Whalen with your question.
In the quote that you have, you'll see the core is on the first page. On the other pages, they have for the optional items. Page 2 has the optional items cost, and the third page has the implementation costs associated with them. So there's some of them, the answer is there's no money for implementation. In other cases, there's a charge based on the work that's being done for the implementation. All of the implementation costs are one-time charges for the implementation purposes. It varies depending on which portion of it that we're talking about.
Thank you for that explanation.
Any other questions? All right.
Ms. King?
Yes.
So agenda items 17.1 through 17.3 need to be voted on separately.
Separately?
So we would need this initial motion to waive the reading to be from 16.1 through 16.4. And then we'll have to have a separate vote for agenda items 17.1 through 17.3. And then we can finalize 17.4 through 17.6. So, I do apologize.
No problem. So we're going 16.1 to 16.4?
Correct.
Okay. So, can I get a motion to move and waive the reading of 16.1 through 16.4?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so that was moved by Ms. Thomas and second by Ms. Cox. Any discussion? Can I get roll call?
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. Now I need to move and waive 17.1.
Yeah, we can vote on all three of those with one.
Okay, 17.1 through 17.3.
Correct.
Could I get a motion to move and waive the reading of 17.1 through 17.3?
So moved.
I had two. So I would choose Heather Morrison. Could I get a second?
Second.
So that was moved by Heather Morrison, second by Tamika Cox. Any further discussion? Can I get roll call?
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. And could I get a motion to move and waive 17.4 through 17.6?
So moved.
Could I get a second?
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Thomas and second by Ms. Cox. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. All right. We are at remarks from the public. Do we have any remarks from the public? Right. Our next meeting, we have our Board of Education Special Board Meeting Work Session at 6 o'clock on March 11th, 2024. We have our next regular board meeting at 6 p.m. on March 18th at the Board of Education. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
That was moved by Ms. Cox and seconded by Ms. Morrison. Can I get roll call?
Ms. Cox?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes. Meeting adjourned at 7.